Hello everyone and welcome to Crypto Night, the crypto investor channel. I'm Boris, so let's dive in. Today we have Colton. Hello Colton.
Hey Boris, how you doing? Welcome back to the Crypto Night channel, everyone.
All right, so let's look at this market. Let me share my screen. Okay, so today we see that Bitcoin has gone down quite a bit. We had said on a video about 2 weeks ago that probably by July or August, we could see the price go further down, go down to 22,000 and then even below. Obviously, we've already reached that point much sooner, probably because of what happened on Friday when they announced really bad numbers for inflation, 8.6% when they were expecting the numbers to probably be more along the lines of 8.1. So that spooked out the market. So the whole NASDAQ, Dow Jones, S&P 500, all of them have gone down further. And so that's why now we're sitting at 21,900. But earlier this morning, even reached all the way down to about 21,000. So yeah, it's not good and it's not fun, but unfortunately, it was pretty obvious that it was going to happen. So I guess you have some questions that we want to go over, Colton.
Yes, sir. My first question for you today, Boris, is now that Bitcoin is at 21,000, is the worst behind us, or is it just gonna, keep, going down?
Well, I wish I had better news, but unfortunately, we probably have to prepare for more downside. And there are several reasons. It has nothing to do really with Bitcoin. Bitcoin itself is fine, and it's a great investment in the long term. Mm-hmm. But currently, the market is bad. Inflation is bad. There are supply chain issues. So the macroeconomics are bad everywhere. The only thing going up these days is the US dollar, so it's going up against the euro, it's going up against the British pound, it's going up against pretty much all currencies out there. We probably haven't seen the worst yet. For a true market capitulation, we're now below the 200 moving average line of Bitcoin. So the medium price for the last 200 days, we are now below that number, which was around 22,700. So we're below that. And in the past, whether it was back in 2016 or in 2020, we went either 15 or 30% below that line. So where are we going to end up at? Difficult to know. But if it is, let's say 20, 30%, somewhere around those numbers, we could easily see Bitcoin reach all the way down to about 15K, which is a high possibility at this point, especially if things don't really improve much. Now the problem is, what are the numbers going to be next month for inflation? Because if inflation keeps on going up, that would not be very good. Jerome Powell, Fed chair in the US, is having a meeting today. They're going to announce some stuff tomorrow. Some people speculate that they could actually go higher in the hiking of the rates, meaning that right now they're raising by 0.5%. They could be doing 0.75%. and maybe as much as 1%. Now, some people say it might not be that bad of an idea to actually raise all the way to 1%, and Wall Street might be actually applauding it and might be actually receiving the news surprisingly in a good way. So we could see a rally on the stock market if they raise it by 1%, because that will mean that they're really going out to really tame the inflation, which at this point, I guess probably that's what Wall Street cares most about. So we might see 1% rate hike, and then there could be a little bit of reversal. We'll see, not sure. So, but yeah, prepare for the Bitcoin to probably slip lower. And there are also another effect which is going to play in this, and this is the reason why there is a high chance, or a good chance at least, that we go down further down to 15, 16K. We'll see where we land. It's the liquidations. because even MicroStrategy, Michael Saylor, who's a very big proponent of Bitcoin, unfortunately, his CFO at MicroStrategy announced in the last quarter, he said, we are okay as long as we don't go below $21,000 for Bitcoin. If it goes below, they're going to have margin calls. Now, maybe they have the money to pay for those margin calls, but if they don't, they're going to get liquidated, at least to not all their Bitcoins, but some Bitcoins might get liquidated that they have. And unfortunately, if that happens, that triggers more downfall because, you know, it's the snowball effect. You know, sales trigger more liquidations, and as the price goes further down, triggers even more liquidation. So that's the bad story. Now that's the thing, is probably more downside from here.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that, Boris. My next question for you is what if I or a Kryptonite subscriber already has Bitcoin? What should we do? Should we HODL? Should we sell? What do you suggest?
Every situation is different. If you have Bitcoin and they're paid for and you don't need the money right now, like you don't need to pay for rent, or you don't need to pay for your mortgage, or you don't need to pay for food using that money, you have some other money, paycheck, whatever, I would probably say it is better to HODL and keep it and play the long-term game as an investor. If you need the money, that might be a different story. It's always very complicated to say sell it and buy it back at 15, because what if it doesn't go down to 15? And what if it goes down to, let's say, 21,900? If it goes down to, let's say, 20,000 and then it bounces back to 25, you're going to be upset because you're going to be like, oh, I should have done that. That's a trader mentality, to say I'm going to sell and then buy back at cheaper and so on and so forth. Now, sometimes some people may decide to do a small portion. They say, okay, I'm going to sell 10, 15% of my position, and I'm going to try to see if I can use that money to buy at a lower price. Unfortunately, since we're already down to 21,000, that's a little bit past. That would have been a better idea to do that when it was at 30 or 32, because there was more room to do this. So the best is, if you don't need the money and you don't have a loan against your Bitcoins, and you don't have any risk of margin calls or liquidation, you can just HODL, and the market will come back. Of course, it'll be painful for a few months, the time that we go through that whole bear market, but then eventually things will get better, and you'll be back, in higher numbers, and you'll be fine.
Okay, awesome. Thank you for sharing that with us, Boris. My next question, and this is a lot of people's question, is what are the advantages of Bitcoin, and why do so many people trust Bitcoin at the end of the day?
Well, first of all, it's the first one. So and if you can go read the white paper. I don't think too many people have read the white paper written by Satoshi Nakamoto back in 2009. And it's instructive. It tells you, what's the vision that he had back then. You have more information also on bitcoin.org, and people trust it because, first of all, it was the first one, and second of all, it is the more resilient one. So whenever it goes down, it doesn't go down as much as the altcoins tend to fall harder than Bitcoin. And then when there is a recovery, Bitcoin is the first one to recover, whereas the altcoins usually follow later on in what's called the alt season.
Okay.
So it's for that reason. The other thing is there's never been really a successful attack on Bitcoin because it is a proof of work. It is harder to actually attack Bitcoin because you would need 51% of all the miner nodes out there to be able to form an attack, which at this point is very, very difficult to organize. So people feel like it is the safest, and they see it. That's why they see it as digital gold.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense. Now, you showed us that white paper. Is that white paper on Bitcoin's website, Boris? I've never seen that before. Just so
Yes.
you know, people. Okay, awesome.
Yeah, if you go, and if you go to CoinGecko, for instance, they actually have the links to the bitcoin.org and directly also to the white paper, so you can click straight on the white paper.
Awesome. My last question for you today, Boris, is kind of a two-part question. But you know, should I and the Kryptonite subscribers be investing in this coin? And the second part to that question is when should we be investing in this coin? Right now, you know, a couple days, next week, you know, a couple months. What do you suggest?
Well, in this current, you know, market, Bitcoin is going to probably be one of your best bets if you want to be more on the safe side. You know, now, of course, if you go on altcoins, you'll probably might get better returns over a period of time, let's say 1, 2, 3 years from now. You might get better return. But at the end, Bitcoin is safer in the sense that, you know, the project will still be there a few years from now. Some altcoins may not make it, you know, through this bear market, especially if they are not very solid, if they are like a smaller project. Technically, and for safety reasons, it's already a risky market. So Bitcoin might be your best bet. But when do you start buying? That's a big question. At $21,000, it is not too bad. You know, it's already a decent entry point. But given the macro, given a lot of the other things, and given the high chances of prices going lower than this and going below 20, I would say that you probably want to hold off. You have to remember that if we were to go down 30% on the price, let's say we go 30% down from here, that 30% drop will allow you to buy, and that's pure mathematics, it will allow you to buy 66% more coins. So if you could buy, let's say, $100 of Bitcoin, if it drops 30%, it's not, let's say Bitcoin was $1 just for simple calculation. It goes down 30%. That means that now the Bitcoin is at 70 cents instead of $1. Well, that $100, instead of you buying 100 coins at $1, so 30% would give you 142 coins for you to buy. So you'd buy 42% more. It's if it went down 40%. If it went down 40%, then it's 66% more coins. So if it dropped, let's say from $1 to 60 cents, at 60 cents with that $100, you would buy 166 coins. So it really demultiplies your power of purchase. And so last thing I would say that's very important is the moment we drop further, most likely we're going to stay down for a little while. So it's not like it's just a boom, a drop to 15 and then comes right back up to 30,000 or some huge number. Once we drop, you know, it's called market capitulation. People just capitulate. They're done. They feel like it's over. And then you're gonna hear all those guys that were like, "Oh yeah, Bitcoin's going to 100K. Bitcoin's going to 200K." You're gonna hear the same guys say, "Bitcoin's going down to 0. It's over." You know, I think it's exaggerated every time, whether on the up or the downside. But you're going to have time to actually make that purchase because usually when the market capitulates, it's going to stay there for a little while. Could be a few weeks, could be a few months, you know, could be as much as a year. It all depends on the macro out there. If everything is tamed as far as the inflation and the economy starts doing better, things could come back up quicker. But it's going to stay down for a little while. It's not going to come right back up. You know, there's not going to be a V-shaped recovery here.
Okay. From my side, Boris, you know, that's about it. I just did want to add that, you know, you told me something great yesterday. Don't let your emotions take over right now. You know, I think that's what people should take away from this is don't be emotional during this time. But I also wanted to, you know, give a shout out to the new subscribers to the Kryptonite channel from our last video. So, you know, thank you for getting us to 1.2 thousand views. And thank you for those 27 new subscribers. But from my side, that's it, Boris.
All right. Very good. Well, thank you, Colton. And thank you also to the new subscribers. And really, guys, you know, I've gone through this type of situation before in 2017, and it's not fun, you know, going down and going down and going down. You feel like there's no end to it, but it's just regular. That's the way the market works. So, but don't let emotion get to you. You'll be fine. You know, things will recover as they always do. You know, in 1929, it was really bad. It was the Great Depression, you know, and we still managed to all recover, and the economy got back on track a few years later, and things got better. So it's what happens every time. So think about that. Thank you. Have a good day. We'll see you on the next video from Kryptonite. I hope this video helps. Thank you for watching. Have a good day. If you haven't already, please subscribe to our channel, and if you like the video at the end, click on the thumbs up.